I'm discombobulated. Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Three Crones in the Woo-Woo. My name is Gayle Nicholson. I'm your Dragon Slayer crone. And to my side today, I have Miss Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie. She is our Stargazer crone, and our traveling crystal crone is somewhere on YouTube right now. Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing with Krista is traveling back to her home base in the Netherlands from France today, and she's somewhere out there, but she is in the comments section on YouTube, so make sure that you say hi to her. All right, and we're going to do this by the seat of our pants with Miss Krista flying around out there, because she's such a big anchor part of this show for the both of us.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if we just float off into the stratosphere or not. All righty. So, Damaris, how are you doing? Have you gotten that the teaser spring that we got this past week?
Yes, I hate it because it's like you want it and then it goes away. You know, today it's like the sun goes in and out. It's windy. It's like, oh, it doesn't know what it wants to do.
I know, right? I'm looking out the window right now, and all of those trees that you see in the fall are covered with vibrant, fiery colors. I now have these little tiny green buds. They're just very, very bright, pale green. And I'm crossing my fingers. I know we're supposed to get like third winter next week or whatever. At least it's going to go down to like the 50s or so. And I just hope that it's not too harsh, that it doesn't knock the buds off.
Yes.
You know how that can happen sometimes? You get those late spring storms and they're just everywhere,
Yeah.
So, cross your fingers, everyone. All right. So we have Joanne. Hi, Joanne. How you doing? So glad you could join us today. I was just talking Joanne up to a mutual friend of Three Crones in the Woo-Woo, Lisa Engel Franklin. She's a longtime watcher of the show. And she's going to be doing a summit coming up with all kinds of people in the holistic realm of healing and so on. And I was talking with Lisa this morning and referred Joanne to her as well because she's very good. Here we go. We're checking in with Krista. She's in Belgium right now. All righty. And third winter. Yeah, it's kind of like second breakfast. And hello, Harry. How you doing, Harry? So good to see. And I really love that logo he's got on it as his icon. Miss Sue, Mama Crone, thanks so much. Mama Crone's in the house today. This is phenomenal. So glad to see everyone. When you pop in, please say hi. Let us know where you're watching from, whether it's live or on the replay. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to hit hashtag replay. We love it when people watch the replay because that just kind of refreshes everything on the YouTube world. And we love your watching. We love your participation. And we love you for taking some of your precious time and spending it with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. All right. So we've got a lot to cover today. I know there's a lot going on out there in, the universe. There's some, retrograde season is coming up as well. And that can be a little bit unsettling for people because, I know you know this even better than I do. When people hear the R word, retrograde, right? They always think Mercury retrograde, right? And the impact that has on us, lack of communication, breakdowns in communications and technology, especially computers. And we're very much, everybody's working on computers these days, whether you're working remote or, doing stuff from your phone. But not all retrogrades are necessarily a frustrating thing, a bad thing, if you will, right?
No.
Right? It's kind
Time
of
of
like,
reflection, right? All of us, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like when you see a lot of reversed cards in tarot. Some of those cards you'd prefer to see reversed than
Yes,
the upright meaning,
absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So,
Yes.
but Damaris will be telling us all about whatever retrogrades are in the near future for us,
Yeah.
coming up, when we get to her segment, but not quite yet. We're going to chat a little bit first. Damaris, I know that you and I are dealing with or knowing about certain things that are happening, out there in the world, and not necessarily that it's the same thing that we're being told through the media.
100%.
You and there's a lot of stuff that's going on out there, not necessarily that we can do much about right now. But let me ask you this: with the changes that are happening right now, right? Whether it's Pluto going into, or excuse me, is it Pluto going into
Yeah.
Aquarius and then back into Capricorn and forward into Aquarius again, or other things that are also kind of rising to the surface to be seen and bubbling around. What do you recommend for people to keep their anxiety about the changes that will be happening at bay?
So let me talk regarding that question. Let me just talk about Pluto in Aquarius, because right now it's going to go back into Capricorn on the 23rd, but in January on the 22nd, and we'll go back into Aquarius. Now, Pluto is the evolutionary journey of the soul, which means that we have to evolve whether we like it or not. A lot of us, and I include myself, we cling to things, whether it's a job or a relationship, or something that is not really serving us anymore. It's not beneficial for us anymore. And I'm going through this myself in one aspect of my life. And so we cling to it because it's our comfort zone. We're used to it. And we don't know what's coming, the unknown, right?
Mhm.
But Pluto has no mercy when it comes to that. It wants us to detach no matter what. And Aquarius is the sign of detachment. And so Pluto in Aquarius will force us to detach from things that we're comfortable in.
Mhm.
Whether it's a job, a relationship, whatever, right? If it's not working, we have to let it go. We have to detach from it and we have to move forward, because as the world turns, so to speak, so do we have to turn. We have to go with the vibration, if you will, of the planet. We
Mhm.
can't stay stuck. If we try to, we'll be painfully forced to move
Mhm.
forward. And so that's what's really happening to a lot of us, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, a career, some aspect of our lives is dying, is decaying,
Mhm.
and Pluto will not allow us to just hang on anymore. And so
That's
when it goes back into Aquarius, we have completely we're going to go into the Aquarian age. And our souls have to evolve, whether we like it or not.
right. I like what Krista's saying here, because that's a good thing to remember is Pluto is Scorpio's governing planet, right?
Yeah,
So it's going to go better for you if you just go plug your nose and both feet, right? Just right in. Embrace
exactly.
it, let it do its thing, because you're not going to stop it.
You can't, you really can't stop it. It's like we're fighting against a current. Eventually we're holding on to a branch on that river, and we're holding on.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Up there goes the
Gonna
shoes.
wash us away. It's gonna wash us away.
Yeah.
So we need to just go with the current. Also, it will affect us physically if we don't, and especially whatever Scorpio rules, which is the genitals and that kind of stuff. It rules the colon, all that area down there. It rules. So if we don't go with that current, and we try to hold on to it, it will affect us at some point. It will affect us physically.
Okay,
Because
so I'm going in for the bad joke here, okay? But you're saying that Scorpio rules the genitals and the colon, and if we try to resist that, we're just going to end up constipating ourselves and be
100%.
It's just
100%.
Until the toxicity just overwhelms us.
Yes.
Yep.
Because you know what the colon is, right? We release toxins, right? So if something is toxic in our lives and we're holding on to it, we're gonna get constipated, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna get clogged or blocked, right? And so it will always manifest physically at some point or another if we don't take care of the other aspects, like spiritual, emotional, mental. If we don't take care of those things, it will become a physical manifestation of our resistance.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, an absolute lot of sense. Okay, I shouldn't have touched this. Oh my gosh, Krista, because you're not here, I'm touching crystals and they're talking to me and distracting me. Right? Especially
Joanne said something. Yes, especially men. Joanne said something also. Pluto's return in the United States. Yep. So it only happens every 246 years.
Yeah.
And so, whatever started then, we're going to revisit now. Actually, we have been revisiting it. And so, it works. Go ahead.
Well, I was watching something earlier, not today, yesterday, and I can't even, Krista. Sorry. Anyway, but it was talking about, when we are in Pluto return, and what was around the first time was this revolution. Oh, it was Marianne Williamson's thing. That she was talking about something on TikTok. And she said, we've got this opportunity to revisit and do it right. Okay.
Yes.
Because those men that signed the Declaration of Independence, right, they were treasonists, right? Just like we see, what we call the insurrectionists on January 6th, they were, going in there to go, this is not working. We declare a do-over, right? We want this fixed. Okay. And, didn't quite get heard that way, but that's essentially the intention was, this is not working. We need a heads up, right?
Yes.
And the people that wrote the Declaration of Independence, when they signed that, they knew that if this did not go well, we will die, right? Yeah. That's, they knew it. And in fact, John Hancock was like, I'm going to sign this big so that motherfucker can read it, Yeah, he was pissed. Anyway, okay. Now, here's what to keep in mind, though. Like Marianne pointed out, 41 of those signers of the Declaration of Independence were slave owners, right? That was society of the day. That was, how many people does Chase Bank employ, right? Now, it's not quite slave labor, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So you've got that's how they did business in the day.
Right? I feel like we're modern day slaves. If you ask me. We are. We're in a society.
Conversation, right?
Yep. Yes.
How the entire country has been designed to keep us oppressed and suppressed, credit and debt and all of that, right? But that's definitely a side conversation to what I'm kind of trying to point at here. Now, here's our opportunity 246 years later to go back and, if not make reparations for that, at least set it right? Like, we have this document that says all men are created equal, except for the ones that only count for 3/5 of a human.
Yeah.
No,
I agree with you 100% on this.
Is the original sin of this country.
Yes, right? It's got karma.
Yeah, it's
got karma. It's got karma. And so, I feel like Pluto in other countries, because this is global, not just in the US, right? But in other countries, I've seen videos where people are revolting against their government because they just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
you know,
I know,
and
I
they
know
have
there's a
come
lot of
together.
protests going on in France right now.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
All
yes.
right. So
Yep.
yeah, there's this Pluto return. We're coming back to revisit that, right? And then right now we're dealing with this Pluto in Aquarius, right? Coming out of Capricorn, which it has
No, no,
been
no. It's going back into Capricorn on the 23rd.
on the 23rd of June.
No, of this month.
No, no. Well, no, that's not what I'm talking about then.
Oh, okay. You're talking about something else?
Yeah, it's Pluto has already gone into Aquarius, and
Yeah.
then in June it goes back to Capricorn, and then it goes forward again in January.
Mm-hmm.
But it was June 11th and then January 22nd.
Yeah.
Those dates I remember from a couple of shows ago. So that's what I'm talking about, where we've been coming out of this, where it's been tearing down all of these systems that were inauthentic. Hello,
Yes.
slavery. Hello, America as a land of opportunity. Unless you're black,
100%.
brown of some shade, right? And we have the opportunity to fix that. We have the opportunity to create actual equality among humans here.
Well,
If we
that's what
set
Aquarius is about, you know?
right,
Yeah, Aquarius is about equality. It's about coming together as one,
yeah,
you know? Yeah.
yeah,
So when it goes back in January, we'll be fully and completely into the Aquarian age, because we
right,
haven't been completely in it yet. But once it
right.
goes in there, that's it. We go into
Well,
that Aquarian age.
and if now I could be wrong about this because astrology is not my first love. It is one of them, but it's not my first love. But we've been like entering into the age of Aquarius with the various planets over a decade, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Pluto being the last one out there, right? The
Yes.
furthest one that takes the longest transit. That's
Yes.
the last one. We will
Yes.
fully be in the age of Aquarius then.
Absolutely correct.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, I just absolutely love watching all of this transpire, right? And I know you do too as well.
Yeah.
But let's talk specifically now a little bit more about what's happening this week for our people. And let me give you
Yep.
your.
All right.
Awesome.
So on the 20th, we have the eclipse on. It's going to be. Oh, that's you. April 20th in Aries, we have the solar eclipse. Now, the solar eclipse, they take us out of our comfort zone. They move us. They shake us. It also reveals things that are hidden. With the sign of Aries is an action taker. So it's also, we can't be in the comfort zone anymore. It's almost like saying, what is it going to take for you not to be complicit? What is it going to take for you to move forward and do whatever it is you're supposed to do in your life, or take the action necessary that you're supposed to take in your life? And that's on a personal level. On a global level, obviously, on a collective level, it's shaking things, it's revealing things that have been hidden. And again, it goes to the same kind of thing like we speak about Pluto. Pluto also uncovers what's hidden. So all of these energies working together in combination with each other are very, very powerful. This week coming up is going to be a powerful week. The eclipse is so, it's so strong that it also sometimes bring weather, it affects the weather. And so the eclipse is definitely shaking us and moving us into the right direction, whether we want to or not. That's happening on the 20th. Then we have Mercury retrograde on the 21st in the sign of Taurus. We have Taurus, the energy of Taurus has to do with resources. It has to do with money. It has to do with like financial institutions, banking, where we invest our money, what we value in life. And that's something that I personally have been going through for quite a few months now. It's like I've been sort of like, evaluating the things that are important to me and what really matters and what doesn't matter, because we definitely have to simplify. We have to sort of like be light in all sense of that word. What are we carrying emotionally, mentally? We have to put it down. The things that we have in our homes, or do we have a lot of clutter? Do we have, in every sense of the word, we have to become light, because at any given moment things can change suddenly, unexpectedly. And that's Taurus. The sun is going into Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus, Mercury retrograde is in Taurus. So, and as I said before, Uranus is a planet that brings sudden and unexpected changes overnight. Overnight. You'll go to sleep, wake up, the world is completely different. I mean, I think that's what happened with COVID. We were going about our business, and all of a sudden, every governor said, shelter in place. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
So it happened suddenly. Like, we knew, there was something going on, but did we think it was going to be a global pandemic where we were going to be, on lockdown? I don't think so.
No, and honestly, even just before that, it was a matter of there's this new flu going around that just seems like it hangs on for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? And that was the extent of it. And then all of a sudden it was like shelter in place, everything's locked down, you're not going back to work. And it was literally the world changed.
It overnight.
Yeah.
It literally did. And so that's a Uranus energy. Uranus is a planet that's very powerful, and it pulls the rugs from underneath us. And so with all this energy, with an eclipse, in Aries, no less, which is a powerful planet, it's ruled by Mars. So it's just all of these energies this week, especially Mars, Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, all of these planets are just really, really powerful. And there's no mercy, so to speak. It's almost like we've been given signs, and whoever hasn't been paying attention is going to get caught, with the pants. What did you say before?
Pants down, yeah.
Yes, I like that expression.
There was an old ism that came out of my mouth earlier.
But it's appropriate, in a sense, because that's what's going to happen if we're not prepared. And that's why it's so important to have awareness, because awareness gives you preparedness. At least, it doesn't catch you by surprise. Like, I knew something was going to happen since 2018. I just didn't know what form it was going to show up in. And then when the shutdowns came, then I knew, oh, this is it. This is what I was seeing because of the planets. And so the more awareness we have, the more prepared we're going to be.
I want to point out the difference between, you're talking about awareness, right? And knowledge. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Because you and I know, right, there's a big difference between knowledge and awareness.
Big difference.
Yeah. So you'll get knowledge from the media. You'll get knowledge from the news, right?
Yeah.
It may or may not be helpful. It may or may not be positive in nature, but you'll get information, and information doesn't make a difference in life, honestly.
Yeah.
You can know everything about everything and still not be able to make a difference, right? Whereas awareness, you can actually play with energies and make a difference, regardless if you're operating under the same information as is being given to the masses. All right. So trust your awareness, and it may, especially if it does not jibe with what you're being told.
Exactly.
By people in authority.
Exactly.
Trust
Exactly.
your awareness first.
Yes. Also, with everything you're saying, it brings to mind, like, we're overfed with information and undernourished, because we may not be getting the right information. And so if we don't have the right information, we can't make executive decisions that are beneficial to us.
Right.
And so we really, astrology has been used for, oh my God, before we were alive. Presidents would use astrology, to guide them. Astrology is a science that is of God, and if we follow it, it'll show us the path. that we
Right.
should take, or at the very least show us why things are happening.
Right.
And so it's very important to have that awareness.
Mhm.
um so on the 22nd, which is Friday, we have Earth Day.
Uh-huh.
And Earth Day, it's in alignment with the Sun in Taurus, Mercury, Uranus. We really need to look at sustainability. We need to look at green technology. Uranus brings all of new technology, and we really need to see what technology we can use that's more sustainable than what's here now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of systems that are, I would say, antiquated still. And so we have to move, we have to upgrade. We're
Yeah.
also being upgraded on a conscious level, whether we like it or not, consciously. Yeah.
Mhm.
Consciously, we're being upgraded. And how you use that upgrade, it's based on your own consciousness. If you don't know, if you win $1 million and you go reckless, then you don't have an awareness of how to manage that money. Do you understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's like awareness is really important in how we handle things and how we manage things moving forward. And
Right.
so my recommendation is that people really start paying attention, because a lot of people don't even believe in this stuff, Gail.
Mhm.
They look
And
at a
yet
horoscope and
their
that's
lives
about
are
it.
being led by it.
Yes,
Literally. Yeah. But
yes,
you know what?
yes,
That's sometimes, and that's the thing that the light bringers and light workers, or the people that are on the cutting edge of new humanism, if you will, have had to deal with for a long period of time. There's a lot of people, less so now than when I was like in my 20s or so, of people who prefer to be asleep and not be in the driver's seat of their own lives, right?
that's
Like,
scary. That's scary.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, we've woken a lot of people up, but then we have to be careful too, because the powers that be are trying to manipulate wokeism
Yes,
into something that's also been corrupted, instead
yes,
of
a
like
100%.
becoming awake and aware of, oh my gosh, this is going on. Now being woke is vilified,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And it's like
It's
just
all to numb us down, and we're the soul is so powerful and so vast, but they don't want us to know our own power, right? And that's why they numb us down. That's why we're, society is in debt. That's why we, like I said, we're modern day slaves. They keep us in this slavery system, if you will, that
yeah,
it's almost like a catch 22 also,
right.
so that's why I love the word sovereign, and that's the word of, for me for the year. It's like, I want to be sovereign. I don't know what that looks like, but I feel like it's showing up in my life in ways that I wasn't ready for.
Oh,
Um,
that,
yes.
yeah. Absolutely.
They say be careful what you wish for, and but I do want to be sovereign, but again, it's showing up in ways that I wasn't quite ready for it, and but that's what I asked for. And
Yeah.
so I have to stand by it and be like, okay, I asked for this. So
Yeah.
now what? What direction are you moving me into? Show me. Um,
Right.
but when Pluto goes back into Capricorn, it's gonna finish what it started.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of systems will come down, a lot of systems will be destroyed, and some people are going to be left like almost like an earthquake came around overnight and like picking up the pieces the day after. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be very, very interesting to watch. And my best advice is to be kind to your fellow person.
Yeah.
Honestly. So how's that number 2 going today?
The number 2 is the number of duality, right?
Mhm.
Thank you for reminding me, because we got into talking. I forgot about the number. The number 2 is the number of duality, it's the number of partnerships, and life is about relationships for me, in my opinion, because we have to coexist with other people. We have to be compassionate, we have to be understanding. If we isolate people, then we're isolated, right? So life to me is about relationships and how we get along with these relationships. Some
Right.
relationships have to go, and some will grow, stronger, And then you'll find new relationships. And I'm not saying romantic, I'm just saying relationships, workability.
Yeah.
And so the number 2 is really a number of balance. How we're going to balance, when someone comes, especially if someone has a very difficult character, personality to deal with. How do we deal with these personality traits? If you don't deal with that personality trait, you will see other people in your future that have the same personality trait as the one you didn't want to deal with. And that's just the way it is. If we have to overcome these, personality traits, we have to learn how to deal with them. The universe will keep attracting it to our lives until we find a way to deal with it. And so sometimes you have to just give the person the right of way in order to avoid conflict. Sometimes we have to do that. It's not about
my foster mom used to say, give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves. That's how I deal with it.
Definitely. The number 2 also is a number of harmony, finding harmony. It's almost like the scales, I think, balancing and finding harmony. The 2 is ruled by the moon, so it's not ruled by Libra or anything. But I also, because of the energy of the vibration, I feel like it has a lot to do with the scales of Libra. Balance.
Yes, because of the partnerships. Every Libra feels like everything has to be done in partnership. And in relationship, even if it's not romantic, even if it's not sex-based or anything like that, there's just this necessary otherness required.
Absolutely. And like I said,
wants to talk to me today. Oh my God.
We're not in this world by ourselves, especially with the Aquarian age. We're going to have to be in partnerships and teams with others that align with us and that have the same kind of like causes that we want to work on, right? And so we have to work as a team. Is they say the team, when you work in a team, you make the dream work, right?
Right.
And so we have to learn to be an individual, but at the same time be able to work in a group. And
I want to point that out because that I'm inspired by that, because here's what I want to say about that. We have to learn to be an individual in order to be, like an effective partner, right? Now, that's why I heard that. And it's like that right there is the best advice for a young married couple or a young couple looking to become married. You have to be a full individual and bring 100% of you to a relationship for that relationship to work, because there's going to be days that you're only going to be able to show up at 80%. There's going to be days they're only going to be showing up at 30%, but you have to have that full 100% you to draw upon. And that other person in that relationship having that 100% them to draw upon in order for greater to be created between the two of you, right?
100%.
You can't phone it in a primary marital relationship like that. And it will crumble.
And you can't lose your identity either, because you won't be happy.
Exactly. And that's what I think a lot of people, they get programmed into searching for your other half. You are not split. You are, it's wonderful when a person can make you feel complete and empowered and all of that, but that's adding unto what is already whole.
100%. But some people are seeking happiness and they want someone else to give it to them, that happiness. And then there's so much pressure on that other person that it doesn't work. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you, Krista. It doesn't work because there's so much pressure on the other person. And so it's not even fair. That's why I say the number 2 definitely reminds me of that Libra energy, because it has all the qualities of that Libra energy. But I'm done, Gayle. You can take over.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you very, very much for that. We're going to do this for a moment. The best. Hello. Okay, so Miss Krista is not here. However, she is in the comments on YouTube. So I'm going to talk a little bit about today's stone, which is hematite. Here we go. And whatever Miss Krista would like to contribute, she may do so. And we'll throw those comments up on the board there. But I used to teach classes in crystals. So I still know a little bit about some of these rocks. And here's my favorite little piece, my hematite, right?
Very
And
nice.
some of you may already have like a round bracelet like this that has the hematite. In fact, for a long time, I had that. And for me, I wore it because it repels negativity, right? And this was long, long before I discovered for myself that I was empathic. And I didn't realize that I was taking on other people's personalities and then morphing myself to be that partner, right? That I could be anything you needed me to be. And I did not realize that I was doing this almost involuntarily, but by choice, right? And I would lose that individuality, you know,
the identity
to a certain extent, but there was a certain amount of me morphing into whatever it was that you needed. And when I was around people of a negative nature, right? Maybe they were unwell, maybe they were unhappy in their lives, I would find myself taking on this negativity. So that was probably like my first clue that I was taking on other people's energy, right? And so I started wearing this hematite bracelet just to ward off that negativity and that energy. And who knew there was going to be so many other layers to it that I was going to explore over the years. But that was probably the first one. And it helps a lot. One of the things that you may notice about hematite is that it is magnetic. Okay. So that means that it can both attract and repel depending on which way the polarity is balanced. Okay. So where it can repel the negativity and that type of stuff, it can also attract a lot, right? It helps you sort things out like mentally. So you can put things in order and enhance your memory and technical knowledge. This is really good for right now when we're in that Mercury retrograde first shadow phase, right? It doesn't actually go in for another 3 days, but for the last week, we've been experiencing the pre-shadow of it, right? So, you know, you might be experiencing telling a joke and having it not land the way you think it should land. You know, you might have little things come up like communications, like even for today for Krista, right? Normally, Krista will make up a video if she knows she's not going to be on air with us in time and send it out to us to just play it in her, right? So I'm blaming the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde why she did not do that, right? And it's completely okay because we're doing this way, right?
Yep.
But you know, it's one of those things that shows up as unusual, right? Yeah. Now, great point for Krista. It also helps people who are iron deficient. There's an awful lot of iron in this. It's a very heavy.
Yeah, stuff, it is.
Right? And when you wear it as a bracelet, the warmth of your wrist actually allows it to I don't want to say it defrags. That's not the word I want. Thank you. But it leaches, if you will, into your system, much like the Baltic amber leaches an analgesic into your skin when put against your skin for warmth. Okay. So that's another really great facet for wearing the hematite is that if you feel like anemic, your iron levels are low, or even if you have, forgive me, a heavy flow during your time of the month, right? That's a really good thing to wear during that time period because it's going to help boost that iron content in you, right?
Yes.
Yep. And great for protection, great for grounding, great for stability. It's kind of funny. I was looking at the crystals that we've been looking at for the last few weeks or so, And Damaris is always asking Krista for crystals for grounding, right? And these last few weeks, they've all been really good grounding. The red jasper.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they've all been really good grounding crystals, right?
And we need it. We need it. We need
We really
grounding.
do during this time period. Absolutely. Now, in addition to that, it's really good in focusing energy and emotions for balance between the body, mind, and spirit. All right. So, we can be third heavy, if you will, right?
I just want to add something. The two is also helping balancing the mind and the heart, the head and the heart. Sometimes they're not in alignment. You want to do something from your heart, but then your head is telling you not to, or vice versa.
Right.
So we need to align the two, the mind and the heart, so that they're in alignment, so that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, not what we're expected to do or obligated to do.
Right. Or conditioned to do.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Also, it can stimulate the desire for peace, self-control, and inner happiness. And that kind of goes with what you're talking about. When the mind and the heart are aligned, right? Spirit can make magic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what we're really looking for, right? That inner happiness that comes with everything is as it should be. And I can take action without fear because nothing bad is going to happen about this, right?
Yeah.
Everything is in alignment. Everything is going to flow. Everything is going to work out just great.
How many times are people in general in relationships that they shouldn't be in anymore because they love the person, but their head is telling them this is not working. And they stay too long in relationships that are really toxic. Yeah. So that's when the heart and the mind are not in alignment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this hematite also can provide a very soft meditative state constantly. Okay. So when you're wearing a bracelet or when you're holding a crystal like this little palm stone that's in the shape of a heart, you can very easily ground yourself and put yourself into a slightly altered state, right? To get some emotional clarity. And that actually pulls me into exactly what I would like to talk about today. Okay, so yes, emotional clarity. You got stuff going on. We've all got stuff going on, especially in 3 days. Mercury retrograde is going to be full blast, right? And that means that we're going to be having computers fuck with us, right?
Your phone sometimes.
Your phones, yes. Anything technology wise. The U.S. government wants to go to digital currency, so that little rollout's going to be a clusterfuck. And
it's in Taurus, so it deals with money.
Yeah, and resources.
So
this next couple of weeks coming up, the opportunities to be surrounded by chaos are going to be present. All right. So I highly recommend, if you don't already have some hematite, if you don't already have a hematite bracelet, reach out to Sue at Class Act Imports. Get the order in now. All right. Because you're going to want to have those touchstones for you when it comes up this next week, because there's going to be kind of just chaos all around. Right.
Yes.
And that especially if you're working a job that puts you in, proximity with other people, right? And you've got your, if you will, armor, so to speak, right? And you know what's going on, so you can at least look at it with some awareness. Most of the people surrounding you are not that awake, right? And they are going to be going, what the fuck is going on? Why isn't my phone working? My phone sucks. And then they throw it and break it, and you crack the screen or whatever, and then it's even worse. But you don't have to be that way. You can be sitting back with your awareness going, this is going to pass. Everything changes, the good and the bad, right? So this is going to pass. I key into my lightly meditative state, breathe for myself, center myself, and know that everything will restore itself. Everything will come back into balance. You can keep your negativity on over there, and I can be okay, right? I don't have to fix your chaos for you. I don't have to buy into that the world is coming to an end because the computer printer fucked it up, okay? You don't have to, like, you can actually be centered in yourself in a very soft and loving, grounded state and just go about doing the things that you need to do. Being aware that, yes, there might be some hiccups along the way. And other people might be responding badly to those hiccups that are occurring in their life.
Oh, yeah.
Not your problem. Your problem is to have your heart, mind, and spirit aligned and working forward, right? For
Yep.
your best outcome. Knowing that, all of these things that are going on are real and also not permanent.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, that's essentially, what I want you to take on for this week is that your energy, right? You are in charge of your energy. And you, having watched this show and learned all of these things that we three Crones are trying to teach you each week, have that sovereignty within, right?
I love that.
Right? You have that ability to be, like the goddess within, the calm, serene point of light that is both connected deep, deep into the earth and way out there into the center of the universe, right? That is connected.
We have to be in the eye of the storm.
Yeah. In that clearing, that sunlight clearing that's in the eye of the hurricane, right? Yeah. And literally everything surrounding you, but nothing touching you, right? Yeah. And that's where we want to be for this next couple of weeks while Mercury is doing its thing, while Pluto is doing its thing, while Uranus is doing its thing. It's all out there. It's all real. It's
real.
Yeah. And although, I'm teaching you how to survive that, to walk through this storm that's happening for the next few weeks, without it being touching you, without it affecting you, without it throwing you off your square, right? That doesn't mean that you're going to be sitting up on a shelf just kind of watching the world go by. You've still got your shit to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Or Aries is not going to allow you to sit, that eclipse.
Yeah, no.
It's going to push you.
Yeah. So, yeah, pick up your hematite, do your daily grounding, your daily centering. Pray for those around you. They need it. They really do. And it's not, don't you dare come at it like, oh, I'm in a better space than you are. You need my prayers. We all need other people's prayers.
We do.
Yeah. We don't do this on our own. We aren't designed that way. No. Especially not Libras like me. You're all my partners in this.
Yeah, no. We're not meant to stay by ourselves.
Exactly.
We need other people.
Yep.
Support system. We need a support system.
And if nothing else, just be kind. Just be kind to the people around you. All right? Because they need it as much as you do. And be kind to yourself as well. Don't forget that you are a child of God, heir to the entirety of the universe.
Yeah.
Everything that can be had is at your command, right? You just need to believe that.
100%.
You just believe it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what the card of the day is today. Oh my gosh. Oh,
7 of Swords.
Oh! I know, right?
Oh gosh.
This card. Oh my gosh. This card is a little bit of duplicity, if you will. All right. This card gives you permission to do what you need to fucking do for you. Okay. And don't You don't have to put a neon sign around it. If you need to, like, on the down low, just kind of like switch some stuff around and go, oh, how did that happen? This is the card for that. Okay. It's a matter of doing what you need to do for your own ends, despite what everybody else thinks they know about it, right? And you don't have to tell everybody what you're doing, right? And it's a form of manipulation, if you will. And here's the interesting thing. A lot of people go, oh, you're manipulating. Oh my God, no, don't victimize me with your gaslighting. No. No. Any form of sales, if you will, is a form of manipulation. You want the person that you're trying to interest in, whatever it is that you have to offer, to see things the way you see them, and that is that this would be helpful to them. And they're not going to see that unless you create conditions in which they can see it. Okay? Yep. Their automatic thrown way of being is to look at life a certain way, and you want them to look at it this way. You have to manipulate things so that they can see it from over here. Okay? Now, we've been conditioned to think that manipulation is bad and wrong. And in many cases it is. Why? Because mankind corrupts everything.
Yeah.
Okay? But that's not to say that by nature, manipulation isn't neutral, right? It's neutral. Okay? Yeah. Helping someone see something in a way that you see it, right, is neutral. Okay? It's when you try to get one over on that person that it becomes corrupt.
Yes.
Right? And then becomes manipulation for the sake of you getting what you want and no one else winning. And that's just not okay. Right? It's a dick move. Okay? That's what it is. Yeah. It's a dick move.
And people do that all the time, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we could go down a whole,
rabbit hole.
A rabbit hole of how this happens, right? Whether it's from the diet industry telling you, oh, take, no sugar. Well, the chemicals in it that are not sugar are going to make you crave sugar. So you're going to fail at your diet, but we're going to sell you this diet food anyway.
It's terrible.
Yeah. That's corrupt manipulation. Mm-hmm. All right. Anyways, so this 7 of Swords card, let me read you what Galaxy Tarot has to say about it so that you get exactly what I'm talking about here. All right. Oops, one back. All right. So today's a good day to keep things to yourself. Don't talk about it, right? The things that you need to do to make things the way you need them to be are nobody else's business. All right. Spend time examining your thoughts carefully before speaking out. You may find that your motivation is less than honorable or that more research is required to learn the truth. Okay. Now, this is a card about doing what serves your own ends, even if that means that it's deceptive or manipulative. Right? When this card comes up, it could be that you have literally stolen something from another or someone has stolen from you. Okay? It could be that you're sneaking around behind someone's back or someone's not being upfront with you. There's some deception involved somewhere. All right? You could be stealing time for yourself, maybe taking a little bit longer breaks than you should be, that kind of thing. Or playing hooky in order to be alone with your thoughts for a while or to avoid a confrontation. All right. And again, those things aren't necessarily inherently bad or corrupt. By nature, they're neutral. It's what you do with those things.
It's just like money, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not the love of, or it's not that money is the root of all evil. The quote actually is, the love of money is the root of all evil. Meaning that if you're doing stuff that is unfair to gain more than is your fair share, that's evil.
Yep.
Okay. Now, using clever mind tricks to get what you want is indicated by the 7 of Swords. Sometimes manipulating a situation to get our way is called for. However, there is a warning here to be mindful of how your actions impact those involved. Again, manipulation at nature is neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to how your actions may underserve those that you care about, right? If it's not fair and equitable, it's not fair. Okay? Now, sometimes research is indicated by this card, right? So you're out there, you're gathering information. Be very aware that when you're collecting ideas that have from others for your work, to give credit where credit is due. Watch out for plagiarism. Don't be taking the credit that belongs to someone else. That's shit karma and you don't want it. You want no part of that. Okay? Awesome. All right. Finally, this card can indicate that we're plagued by guilt over something that we've done or even something that we're thinking of doing. All right. So any of you out there that have this overinflated sense of guilt, recovering Catholics, I'm talking to you. Okay. Look for the most honorable way to achieve what it is that you want. And there may be time to correct the situation so that you don't have to be ridden by guilt over it. Okay. Maybe a little bit more research is needed before you actually take action on it, or, whatever the case may be. All right. Guilt, shame, blame, and regret. Those are my top 4 losses of power. At any time that you're feeling guilt, shame, blame, or regret, you are at a loss of power and you are not at your best self. Okay. So wherever those areas are in your life, should you choose to not live at a less than empowered status, if you need help getting clear on those, please reach out to me. We can have a conversation and I can set you straight. Okay. Because we don't want any of that sucking your life force away. All righty. Awesome. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that, Damaris? I kind of went.
No, well, I can add that, I always look at the number, right? Because I do numerology. So the 7 is actually associated with Neptune, and Neptune could be, you could be deceiving yourself. You could be kind of dreamy, living a reality that is like, false because you're like in la la land. Right. So yeah, we need to be grounded, definitely with that energy we do, so that we can make the proper choices and the right choices, right? We don't want to take away from anybody the same way we don't want nobody to take away from us.
Awesome stuff. All righty. And then we want to say congratulations to our woo-woo winner of the day. Congratulations to Belle McCall.
Oh, my friend. Oh, my goodness. That's awesome.
Wonderful. Awesome. Congratulations, Belle. All right. So now for Belle and for anyone else who doesn't know what we do here, each week we give away a 30-minute reading to one lucky winner. This week, it's Belle. So, Belle, all you have to do is reach out to one of us Crones that you choose to collect your 30-minute reading. Now, if you choose me, it will be an intuitive tarot reading. If you choose Miss Damaris, it will be a numerology reading. And if you choose the invisible Miss Krista, it will be a crystal reading. And some her crystal readings are amazing. Well, they're all amazing, but I just love her crystal readings.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, they are very different. Nothing else I've ever had done. Anyways, so just choose one of us and slip into our messenger and say, hey, I choose you. When can I get on your calendar? And we will put you on the calendar for a 30-minute reading free of charge as soon as we can fit you in. All right. Now, for anyone else that would like to reach out to us, we have Monday Crone hours all day on Monday. Get on our schedule for that. And we offer a variety of different services above the readings that we do.
Yes.
I do clarity coaching and resilience coaching. Damaris does all kinds of stuff in her little magic boxes as well.
Oh my God, those are awesome.
Are they? Oh my, I love the boxes that I was so jealous when I saw your box for Krista. I'm like, oh my God, we need to get one again. So we'll do that soon. But yeah, we offer all kinds of stuff. So reach out, just start a chat and see what it is that that your intuition and awareness is going, hey, why do I need to talk to Gayle today? Why am I getting this hit to go talk to Damaris or to Krista for that matter? And follow up on those intuitions. All righty? All right. Awesome. So I want to say thank you again to everybody who has a hand in making this such a successful venture. Damaris, to you, to Krista, to Sue over at Classic Imports, and always to you, our audience. Thank you so very much for being a part of this show every week. We really appreciate you and we love you dearly. Have a fantastic week ahead. Take care.